for weeks. When it came to basketball updates, Caitlin Clark's social media was a complete wasteland. There were no workout posts or practice clips. Nothing at all, but the rumor mill went crazy, with people spreading tales that Clark had secretly traveled to Europe. Before we knew it, Clark sightings were appearing in all the basketball hotspots across the Atlantic, with rumors that she was practicing with French powerhouses and even signing contracts overseas. The rumors became so intense that some people were promoting poorly photoshopped images of Clark wearing a Euro jersey to support their claims. But guess what? All of those so-called sources were completely false, and fans were busy stoking the hype. We have the inside scoop on Caitlin Clark, who was in the US today, working harder than ever and going full throttle in the gym. A sneak peek at Clark's real off-season training schedule, and let's just say it's fierce. From making 25 consecutive three-pointers to doing precise shooting exercises, she's making the league take notice. This video isn't just a peek at her routine, it's a warning to her rivals. Caitlin Clark has returned, stronger, more adroit, and more dedicated as ever, but that's not all. Before we jump in, hit the like button. We're delving deeply into what this off-season grind means for her and the WNBA as a whole. Is she preparing for an MVP caliber season? Is she developing new tools that could elevate her game and her team to new heights? Hit the notification and subscribe bell. This will allow you to stay up to date on all the newest basketball news and never miss what's coming up. Let's take a time to reflect. Recall the crazy story that Caitlin Clark had slipped away to Europe for a covert basketball binge during the offseason. There were a ton of theories on the internet. Clark was purportedly in Spain one day, then the next she was spotted hitting up courts in Paris. It was all over social media, as if basketball's own Waldo had just debuted, with people putting her in every gym in Europe they could think of. Fans thought Clark was out there establishing her European empire after she signed with a French club and was seen practicing in Italy. But this is the truth. Caitlin Clark was working harder than ever here in the United States, far from Europe. Now that we have the evidence to dispel all of the rumors, let's go back to the beginning of the story, which lasted for weeks. In an era when everyone's lives are streamed in real time, Caitlin Clark's social media suddenly went silent on basketball. There were no practice videos or pictures of her working out, so people assumed she must be in Europe right away. Clark is undoubtedly working on her European game. Every YouTuber and armchair analyst had a theory, and the best part was that none of them were accurate. Some channels even went so far as to try to sell it using laughably ridiculous evidence, such as poorly photoshopped images that appeared to be a high school project gone wrong, with Clark's face pasted onto random European players, blurry out-of-focus photos that could have been anyone with a ponytail, and some fictitious documents that suggested she would sign a contract abroad. Let's take a moment to consider this. If one of the most well-known faces in women's basketball suddenly appeared on a European team, wouldn't someone notice? Where were the press releases, fan photos, and actual evidence? The fact that there wasn't even one credible sighting or report was beginning to make this whole situation seem pretty ridiculous, but the rumors continued to circulate. If she wasn't in Europe playing under the radar, where was she? The answer may be less exciting, but it makes much more sense. Yes, people, Caitlin Clark was in the United States enjoying a well-earned vacation from basketball. To post confidential statistics, Clark wasn't slinking off to another continent. She was playing golf with her Indiana Fever teammate Lexi Hall, going to carnivals with Aaliyah Boston, attending charity events with her boyfriend, and hanging out with friends, the usual things a 22-year-old does when she's not breaking records on the court. However, for someone like Clark who thrives on competition, downtime doesn't last forever. While the internet was going crazy trying to follow her hypothetical European tour, Clark was actually doing what she does best, grinding. When the rumors started to fly, Clark decided it was time to set the record straight. She released footage that put an end to all the rumors and revealed her real off-season grind, and let me tell you, this footage is no joke. Her Indiana Fever team dropped a series of videos on social media, and within seconds, the internet was buzzing again with the actual narrative. This time, this was not just a warm-up drill, it was a statement to the league and beyond for anyone who thought Clark might be taking it easy. While the rest of the world speculated that she was leveling up her game, this was a wake-up call for Clark, who was back at the Fever's training facility, casually sinking three-pointer after three-pointer like she was born to do. It in one jaw-dropping cliff. She was seen hitting 25 consecutive threes with such ease and precision that it looked like she could have gone on all day. Clark isn't the type to just go through the motions. Every session has a purpose. The first item on her list was strengthening and adding a floater shot. I feel like I'm only scratching the surface. There are so many things I want to work on. It's a wise decision for a guard like Clark, who frequently faces larger defenders, to keep going to the gym and working on that every day. A solid floater means she can go over their heads with ease, giving her another weapon to pull out at any moment. And if this sounds familiar, you're onto something. Steph Curry, one of the NBA's most iconic shooters, spent an offseason working on his floater, building up his frame. The result, a championship and a finals MVP in 2022. Clark's taking a page right out of the Curry playbook, and the impact could be just as transformative. But that's not all. Clark's been working on her left-handed dribbling, putting in hours to make sure she's just as dangerous going left as she is going right now. You might think, isn't dribbling with both hands pretty basic? Sure, but when you're in the WNBA where every little advantage counts, being able to use both hands equally well with the ball can make a huge difference. Imagine trying to defend a player who can drive left, pull up for a three, or hit you with a floater all in the blink of an eye. It's like trying to guard a human tornado. And of course, let's not forget about her shooting. She was already putting up impressive numbers the previous season, shooting 1.7% from the field and 4.4% from beyond the arc. Those are good numbers, especially for a rookie who had to carry a heavy offensive load. But here's the thing, that clip of her draining 25 straight threes wasn't a fluke. It shows how dialed in Clark is. Caitlin Clark isn't here to be solid. She wants to be spectacular. Imagine what would happen if she pushed her field goal percentage closer to 50% or bumped her three-point accuracy up to 40%. We're talking about a player who's already one of the league's most dynamic scorers, becoming even more efficient. She wouldn't just be putting up 20 or 30 points a night. She'd be dominating the court, turning every game into a highlight reel. But here's what really sets Clark apart, her commitment to self-improvement. She's not just interested in being a star. She wants to be one of the greats. This isn't a player who's content with good enough. She's got a hunger for greatness. And that's what's got everyone excited. Her work ethic, her dedication to her craft, her willingness to put in the hours, it's all there. And her coaches and teammates are paying attention. They know they've got something special in Clark, and they're counting down the days until the season kicks off. Now, let's talk about the message Clark's sending to the league with these workouts and her laser-focused approach. She's making it crystal clear. She's not here to coast or play it safe. She's coming back stronger, faster, and more determined than ever. This isn't a player who's satisfied with one good season. She's got her sights set on something bigger. The WNBA better be ready, because Caitlin Clark is on a mission, and she's bringing a whole new level of intensity to the game. Yet her offseason wasn't just about basketball. Clark is also making waves off the court, showing a side of herself that's just as impressive as her skills on the hardwood. When she's not in the gym, Clark has been spending time giving back to her community, from attending charity events to advocating for causes close to her heart. Clark is showing that she's more than just an athlete. She's a role model. She's using her platform to make a positive impact. And it's a side of her that fans don't always get to see. But for Clark, this is just as important as her work on the court. Some fans might wonder if all this balance means she's taking her foot off the gas. Shouldn't she be training 247? But here's where Clark's approach is different. She understands that in order to stay at her best, she needs to keep a healthy balance. Experts in sports psychology back this up. Taking time to recharge and connect with family and friends can prevent burnout and